All right, so this is going to be for class 2 on Friday the 3rd, which is a white day, and Monday the 6th, which is a red day. Okay, so this is for class 2. So what we're going to end up doing today is we're going to practice plot, and we're going to be doing that by watching a video. So what I need for you to do is I need you a separate sheet of paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of divide it in half. So make sure you have a separate sheet. Again, if you would need to pause at any point, you know that you can do that. But then with that piece of paper, I want you to draw a line kind of in the middle because we are going to use the top half for today. So what you're going to do is you're going to get 4-ish equal-ish boxes there. And then I want you to write the word conflict to label that box. This one is going to be resolution to conflict. This one is going to be rising action. And this one's going to be resolution to story. Okay, so get your area set up like that. And then essentially what we're going to be doing today is we're going to watch a short video. I'm going to have you watch a short video, and then we're going to come back and we're going to kind of talk about the different things that you would see in a plot chart. Just to show you this too, I want to make sure that you know that you have these resources in your notebook once you get back to school. But on page 22, this is all about plot. So it's like that story mountain. I know some of you guys know that from elementary, but it's like this plot chart on how all fiction stories go. So it starts with the conflict, then they have to figure out how to try to solve it. Then they finally do solve it, or whatever that looks like. Following action, resolution of the story. So it kind of has that same flow. Page 23, this is all about conflict. This talks about how to word a conflict. So we'll use this here in a little bit, and I'll show you that. And then page 24 has theme. So we'll come back and look at that here in a minute as well. But I want you to know that you have those notes and resources in your old notebook. Now, since you are at home and you need access to that, what you could end up doing is you could go into Schoology and go to the reading writing course. And in the notes section, you will actually see all of those as well. So page 22, plot chart examples, conflict notes. So we have all that in there. So you can make sure to check there as well since you're at home. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do is you are going to go back to that absent document, and I need for you to click on this link right here where it says Ormy the Pig. You're going to click on this and you're going to watch that video. Okay. So that's all I need for you to do. So again, you should have this already filled out. You're not going to write anything else on there yet. I want you to pause this video and go watch this video right here. When you're done, come back and see me. Okay, so at this point, you should have watched Ormy the Pig. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that and talk about the plot and how that all works out. I'm going to add the title up here, Ormy the Pig. Put a box around it so it reminds me what this one is for. And then we're going to kind of talk through what this was. Okay, so for conflict, we need to know what the character wanted. So Ormy is obviously the main character. He's the only character. And he obviously wants a cookie. Okay, so I'm going to write Ormy wants the cookies. And yes, I want you to write this. And one important word that we want in the conflict is because that right there, that Ormy wants a cookie, that's not a conflict. What we have to say is we have to say what is in the way of him getting that cookie. Okay, so the word that we want to have in our conflict is the word but. You can have, I said this in class, you can have the big but or little but. I want the word but in there, so make sure you have that. So Ormy wants the cookies, but we have to think what's in the way. And we can say he can't reach them. Okay, they're too high. That's the conflict. He wants them, but he can't reach them. They're too high. Okay. At this point, it's kind of this is an interesting one because when we think about going down here to resolution of conflict, he wants the cookies, but he can't reach them. So does he get the cookies? And a lot of the answers that came out today was yes and no. And so because of that, I'm going to switch and not do resolution of conflict first. I'm going to go diagonal here, and I'm going to do resolution of story. Because if we think about what happened at the very, very end of the story, is that the jar fell on his head, and so he can't eat the cookie. Okay, so if that's the resolution to the story, now we can kind of go back to what the resolution of the conflict is, because this is saying that he can't eat the cookie. But if we think about, did he get the cookie? He did get the cookie. But then the resolution of the story is that he didn't get to eat the cookie. Okay, so over here is we can say that Ormy got cookie after, I'm going to say this, giving up and bumping fridge, because that's how he got the cookie. Like when I think about what he looked like as he bumped in the fridge, it was like, oh, fine, I just can't get the cookie. And then all of a sudden the cookies fell. That's why I kind of put that after giving up a little bit and bumping in the fridge. It's kind of interesting. Okay. And then this last little part for rising action, which is not little, I should say. But this part, this is like the majority of the story. This is how Ormy tries to solve his problem. Okay. So if we're thinking about the different things that he did, we could talk about the fact that he had the trampoline. He used the boxes. He jumped out of an airplane. He tried the rocket. He had the plungers. He had the, what is it called? I can't think of what it's called. Anyways, he cut the circle around and dropped the thing, the fridge. So what I want you to do is you don't have to write all of those things. I just want you to write 2. And if you want to use the 2 that I use, great. If you want to use something else, you can also do that. But I'm going to write trampoline. And then I'm also going to write jumped off airplane. So those are the 2 that I'm going to choose. If you want to write something different, that's fine. But the really cool thing about this, though, too, is that, and you can do this with any fictional story like this, is you can come up with a conflict, have rising action, have resolution of conflict, resolution of story, and then what you do is if you end up saying them, this is essentially a summary of that story. So even though this is a really short instance, you could do this with like one of the books you're reading. You could do this with Harry Potter and it would still work the same way. And that's a really thick book. Okay, so here it goes. So it says, Ormy wants the cookies, but he can't reach them. He tries to jump on the trampoline to get them. He didn't get them. He tries to jump off the airplane, but no. Ormy got a cookie after giving up and bumping in the fridge. The jar fell on his head, and so now he can't eat the cookie. So that's essentially a summary. It tells you the summary of the story. It doesn't have every exact thing, but that tells you a summary. Okay? All right. Last little thing I want you to do is on some section here. I don't really care which section you have. I'm going to put mine up here, but if you only have room over here, you can do that. We are also going to add the theme to this. So if we think about what the theme is for Ormy the Pig, is we want to think, what was the lesson that he learned? And when I say that, what is the lesson that he learned? You also want to think about what would most people say the lesson is? Because you could come up with something kind of crazy, whatever, but what is the thing that most people say the lesson is? Now, as long as you can support this, it will essentially work. So as long as you're able to go back and support it with evidence from the story, you essentially can have that theme. Okay? So I've heard some people say, like, never give up. Some people said you don't always get what you want. Some people looked at their notebook and they found this one. It says sometimes you have to accept what you cannot change. So there's lots of things that you could think about. What I want you to think about is what did Ormy learn? Or what did you learn from it? And kind of go that route. Okay? And what I want you to do is on your piece of paper, you're going to go ahead and write that theme. If you're confused and not really know what to do, you can write the theme that I write, which is fine. So I'm going to do this one. You don't always get what you want. Okay, that's the one that I'm going to choose for today because I can do that. I can talk about how and why that is the theme for this particular story. I can go back to the story and provide evidence on why that's the case. Okay, all right, that's essentially all I had for you in the sense of just a quick little lesson that I gave today. what I need for you to do is go ahead and take a picture of that and send it to me. That way I know that you did it, so I can give you credit. We will, when you guys get back, or maybe the next time I have you in class, is we'll do one at the bottom as well. So just know that, anyways, I want you to send this to me so I know that you did it. Okay? All right. Then outside of that, what you're going to do is you're going to work on your research, or not your research, you're going to work on your project. And so you're going to use that research that you have taken in your notebook, or actually you don't have your notes, but you can actually kind of go off of what your go back to your Padlet and kind of work on your project. So whatever that project is, so if that's a Canva, if that's on slides, whatever that is, you just have project work time for the remainder. I would say I would work for about 20-25 minutes on your project. Okay. All right. That's all I have for you. Thanks.